Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mariah's Sanctuary. I'm Mariah. Happy Monday. Oh, hi. My Monday's doing okay. I like the days where I do my art better, so we'll see. This weekend was okay. I'm doing okay. Maybe this weekend, well, it depends on if we get to 1.6K. If it happens this weekend before this weekend, I'm gonna be putting the poll up for that this weekend to decide what date and time that will happen. And my celebratory streams are subscriber only because of the trolls we've gotten. Even though I know since switching to this particular format we haven't gotten any, I'm still doing it that way. Yeah, I'm really close. This channel's really close, so we'll see. Because it can go either way, it could go down or up. So that's why I say it could be this weekend or it could be later. So we'll see. Um, I did put a poll up for those who watch my long content, saying if they want me to remove certain things or add certain things. Well, if you want me to add things, I need you to write the comment and put the comment below the poll. If not, then you don't have to actually write a comment to that. But if I don't know about that, I can't do anything about it. And hopefully, the constructive comments, like not rude ones, because if it's rude, I'm just gonna delete your comments, so that will happen. And hi, Mildred and Nick. Um, I've decided I'm going to either start doing these streams for an hour or an hour and a half because I do them way too long and then I burn myself out way too much. I think 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 2 hours is too long, so I'm gonna start. I decided I'm gonna wean back on how long I do my live streams, unscripted live streams for. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, um, I'm thinking. I lost my thought. Bloody crap. Um, oh yeah. Also, thank you to those who have already have donated at one time, who are consistent donators. Because honestly, I wouldn't be able to do this channel if I didn't have that. I'm very grateful to the ones who donate more consistently because it helps me continue to do what I do. Because if I didn't have that kind of money, I probably would just have stopped because it shows me that no one believes in actually what I'm doing. So yeah, that's how I feel when people don't watch or don't support the content I do. That's how I feel. I know people are like, you're being a bitch, you're complaining. But I'm being honest. Unlike other people, some people would not be honest about that stuff, but I will. Thinking I'm going to do things that make me happy. The channel makes me happy. The community I've grown on this channel has made me happy. My art makes me happy more than anything. Actually, it's probably as much as the channel does. Helping people on this channel makes me happy. So those two things together make me happy. Because helping disability community is my purpose. So I try. Honestly, if I wasn't part of this community, I would probably. I don't know how I'd be. So because um, I wonder how I'd be if I wasn't a member of the disability community. Would I care as much as I do? I don't know. Can't say because I can't undo my life. Not that I would if I could. I feel like for people that aren't a part of the disability community, they try to figure out where they fit. It's probably a little bit more hard to figure out where they fit. Um, and I'm also biased because I'm a member of the disability community. Um, And also probably because I grew up in the 90s, being a 90s baby, I realized how much the disability community was excluded. Before I was fortunate enough not to be excluded, but there were some that had. I do feel like if I had a more severe disability, more likely if I was nonverbal, I would have been excluded. Like some of those who were around my age were, which makes me sad when I think about it. But I hope that I'm not trying to speak for them, but I hope my voice is able to help those who feel like they need it or need to hear something like that. I do believe that not I don't believe to be the voice for not people that cannot speak. I'm so sorry for all the noise. I think it's a plane outside. My goodness, it's so loud. Only stop because I can hear it and it's rattling the house. So I'm like, okay, be quiet, wait. Um, I don't try to speak for things for people I can't. That I don't try to speak for those who don't have a voice because that's not my place. I mean, even though people have said I speak for their child, I don't think I physically speak for their child. I think that I think when they say that, I think they mean that by me using my voice, even though I'm part of the disability community, it shows that their child is as valuable as others. Um, Well, I only realized it because since I actually am part of the disability community, I got to see parts of parts, different areas in the school because I was in a specialized reading class. I got to see kids that were excluded. So for me, that's the only benefit about reading undergrade level. Other than that, I would not say is that there's not a benefit to it. Um, but because I had and now I realize my life went full circle because it made me want to help people that are like me, not exactly the same, but people that are similar to me. Um, so I see where that drive came from when I was a child on throughout my whole life. I do see it, which is very cool to see because some people don't get to see their life like come full circle from the moment that they had a major impact and being shown throughout their whole life. So yeah, I do wonder if what was I gonna say? But I don't really honestly I can't speak for you, Nick, because you're in South Africa, I'm in the U.S. So I don't know the difference between schooling was just because we're born in the same same year ish wise, a couple years apart. I don't know what it's like. I can't say how school was like there compared to here because I don't know. I don't know if for your country, I'm not sure how the disability community was treated there. So I can't specify for you. Like I do know where, particularly the school I was in, and I can't say for all states. I know for the state I was in and the county that we lived in, that it was like that. I can't say every single school was like that because some schools may be more accommodating than others. And also, let's be honest, back in the 90s, things were very different than they are now. Like I feel like now I understand parts where people in the disability community are excluded. I'm not saying I understand why. I do understand, like for example, like when they have specialized like gym time, I do understand that. That I didn't know that until I started working with kids that are like me. Not exactly like me, but similar. Of course, I was an adult, but the difference is I don't know if it was always like that. They had specialized gym time. I don't know if they. I do not know back then because I was a child myself. I don't know if kids that were in like I don't know if it's still called this. It was called special ed. I'm not sure if it was called anything other than that back then. Because I was in inclusion classes, which means kids with gen ed kids and people with kids with IEPs, which I was one of those. Um, we were, even though we were had an IP, we were still treated as if we were regular, but we had the accommodations as well. But whatever the IP accommodations were, because of course accommodations for different kids will be different. Each accommodation for a child will be different because they may have different needs. Let's just be honest. But I do not remember. The only time I remember seeing the kids that I got to see that were in the special education class, and I say specialized because I don't remember what it was called because, let's be honest, I was a child, so I don't remember what that class was called. I just remember this one particular girl. I just remember her. I don't know why I remember her. Her name was Jessica. I can see her face exactly how it was when we it was about 8, I think, maybe 8 or 9. I remember what she looked like. I remember that she was nonverbal. I don't know if she eventually learned to speak. I can't say because we weren't around her enough. We were only there at random times because of I had my classes, my classes I had, and then I would get broken out. Me and a few other kids would get broken out of different because we were in the reading group that was below grade level. So we wouldn't always see her because we wouldn't always see those kids because we had certain things we had to get done for like curriculum and stuff. So I can't specify what happened to her after. I don't know what happened to her after elementary school. Because we ended up moving from that area, so I can't say what happened to her. I don't even remember seeing. One thing I do not remember seeing is them at graduation because they would have been around the same age we were. I don't remember seeing any of the special. I don't know if they didn't like promote the same way we did, which is kind of bullshit, by the way, when I think about that, because they're still human beings, even if they are nonverbal. Doesn't mean that they can't get their like award or something, like get your promotion and stuff, be promoted. But I don't know why I don't remember what happened to them. I don't. I literally only remember the one little girl. I know there was more than one little girl, but I think I must have. I think in my head, I think my head attached myself to that little girl because, it's almost like I saw myself in her, but I'm not her, of course. You said in South Africa. You said South Africa. Africa was always behind the U.S. A little technologically. You said it was something similar in the 90s for you guys too. But then I think maybe at the same time, technology. Let's be honest. A lot of the stuff I learned as a child has completely changed since I've grown into an adult. Like a lot of things that I know, like I learned, of course, paper version, but also we were like the 90s. You didn't really have. I'm not saying you didn't have computers or whatever, but like the Mad Minute was a physical thing you had to write out. I remember watching these kids because they're kids complain. Oh, it's digital. I mean, we got to write in the answer. I mean, at least your hand can cramp if you type whatever. But if your hand cramps when you do the Mad Minute, when you're physically writing, like you're fucking screwed because you don't got no other chance. I always loved the Mad Minute, but like, let's be honest, I like math, so that makes sense. I just think that I just wish that the disability community got as much credit as the actual whole society does. I feel like the words we use, sometimes we are looked down on like a lot because we fight hard because we have to for certain things we should get automatically that we don't get. And then people always are like, oh, well, you're whining. Oh, you're complaining. But actually, we're not really complaining. We're just asking for the same right everyone else has. It just happens to be that we have to use our voice to get it rather than society just giving it to you. Like, but I'm also, like I said, I'm biased to that. Hopefully Mildred's okay because she like randomly like left. I don't see her. Maybe she's listening and not speaking, which is fine. Thinking. I do. The one thing I am gonna. Oh wait, Nick said that the worst thing is not always knowing. these things, and then kids these days seem to do a lot of schoolwork. Yeah, they definitely do a lot of schoolwork on iPads, and you said it worries you that they don't know how to write so much more. Um, I does concern me that they do use a lot more computers and iPads, but I do understand at the same time that a lot of some of these kids, okay, some of these kids grew up during a time of the pandemic. Well, some of their childhood was impacted by the pandemic, unfortunately. Um, Fortunately, me, you, Mildred, and other people weren't impacted by the pandemic when it came to schooling, particularly elementary schooling. I'm not going to say like college because some people are in college. Not that we are. Can't say we're Mildred, but I know me and Nick most likely are not. I know I'm not. But and I can't imagine. The one thing I was saying to my mom, I said, I bet if I had been an elementary school kid when there was a pandemic, I don't think I would have. I probably would just said, screw this school shit and be done, because school was already hard when I was a child, and that was a long time ago. But still, I can't imagine. I was thinking about it because I remember thinking about it. I said, for the people that are part of the disability community that were impacted by the pandemic, especially any kid that's in school, it must have been hard from you were in school, then you have this virtual thing and you're like thrown into some hole. You have to basically be accommodated here. And then it's like, then I remember having written work I had to accommodate because there were some teachers that would piss me off. So every time it pissed me off because some of these teachers knew that they had accommodations. Some of them would be more accommodating because they knew, but others were like, I'm not doing extra work. Just cross out this one. Miss Burley's job is not to accommodate for the child. You're supposed to do it as a teacher. I'm supposed to help, especially because you know that some of these teachers knew I had multiple kids on the caseload I had. I had some classes I had a few, like 4 or 3 kids for one class, and I have to go between each. And if you don't accommodate, I like the teacher that said, oh, so and so do this and this question, because that's how I'm grading it. I appreciate them, but the ones that made me have to go and do the accommodate for the kid when this is your dang job. I'm supposed to support the child, but I'm not supposed to do your job for you. Because I already have, on top of helping those kids, I would have to write down notes and stuff. It's not like I'm just doing one little thing. I am supporting all those kids, but at the same time, I'm also tracking certain things, habits and things. So it's not as if I'm not, it's not as if I'm not I wasn't actually doing anything. Because I think people assume just because someone works with kids that have disabilities, they're just doing one little task. It's not. I'm doing multiple tasks for multiple different children. And I had from K to 3rd grade, and sometimes there was multiple kids. Sometimes there were one, but sometimes there's multiple in grades. And I'm thinking, how the hell do you expect me to do all this? On top of my job. You said you think it's astounding that I don't even want to think about that. I know what you said, Mildred, there. Yeah, I try to not think about that because that pisses me off. I really can't think about that particular statement about I love the disability advocates, but I don't want to talk about that. The other A word you just said, I don't try to talk about that because that just makes me angry, and I'm trying not to get angry on camera. You said so many. Yeah, unfortunately I do. Does seem like family, some I will not say all, because not all, because my parents are not like that. There's some other families that are not like that. I can't speak for every single person, because some people in the disability community actually have really awesome families, and they have supportive families, and they actually care about their children. I can't speak for the ones that don't, and I don't care to, because they don't deserve for me to speak about them. But I think one thing I do hope is that's the one thing I hope about this channel. I hope that anyone that is in a situation that's like that, a bad situation, that they feel like this is a safe space where they can speak. I think it's disgusting that some people in the disability community have to deal with disgusting behavior like that. I will say that. I don't condone that at all. If you didn't want the child, that even if they have a disability or not, more likely they probably have one. If you didn't want the child, why did rather than do anything harmful to them, why didn't you just give them to someone that actually would care about them? Because there are many families. I mean, there are many situations I've seen that I wish I could have. I wish I could take the kid, and raise them myself. Because I hate seeing. I literally, out of all things that I hate, especially when I remember when my mom used to tell me stories, and it made me so damn mad. It made me so mad. I was like, God, can you just let me have the child so I can raise it? I literally, even though I wasn't that, I don't remember how old I was. I think I was still in my 20s still. Um, but I was like, I would love that child, because I'm thinking the child didn't do anything to this. I mean, of course, they didn't cause the disabilities to happen to themselves. But at the same time, if you don't love your child, why don't you give them to someone that actually will love them? And I don't mean love them to get a check. That's not what I mean. I mean love them, genuinely love them, so they can be themselves and not have extra. They can be themselves and not have extra harm to them. But used to create a safe space here. Disability advocates and educators. Well, I try. I know people upset I make a difference. I can't always tell. I only know when people tell me I make a difference. Other than that, I just kind of assume I might, and then all the time I'm like, okay, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Definitely, yeah. I don't think, yeah. I'm glad you understand what I mean. I don't. The reason I don't give them a spotlight is because why would I give bad behavior a spotlight? That's just not good for anybody. Like, I rather a person that's going through it speak for themselves and like share some stuff, but I would never force anyone to, nor would I blast blast them for not sharing, because I know certain things can be probably hard to say, like, and then I would hope they would get the help. I don't even know, I probably could research stuff and see, but I've never really, only there was only one situation where there's a few situations I had, but I can't talk about them because under law I'm not allowed to. Where I've had to, like, we've had to call, like, I forgot. I've had to do reports as being an educator and stuff about that in the past with children. And there was one, not in these, not the schools I'm talking about, because there was something else separate from that, that someone had came to me telling me a situation their family was in. And if I had known them personally, I would have asked my mom if we could, like, take them in for a little bit, because I was like, I was concerned. I was concerned about what was happening. I don't know. The person doesn't come on here anymore, so I can't say what happened to um the person. They were a teenager at the time. I think they had a sibling. They had an abusive situation happening, and I would try to, like, I would tell them certain things they could do, but I can't make them do that, and I can't make the parent not do that. Like, I remember them telling me that there were situations where they would have to call the police. There would be things, and I'm thinking, God, all I had to say is, like, God, please help them. I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't physically remove the person from the situation. The person used to comment on my channel. I don't know. I hope they're okay, because it's been years since I think I've heard from them. So I have no idea what happened to them. I hope they're good, because I know that situation was draining. It's not, honestly, when I would read when they would tell me about it, I'm thinking, my gosh, this is horrible. Like, I don't, I've never been in this situation. I can't imagine what that must be like, dealing with this all the time. Like, it wasn't just sound like the most draining, emotionally draining, mentally draining, physically draining kind of situation. Especially being a teenager on top of dealing with all that crap. Like, and your other sibling, you want to protect your sibling in that situation. I can't imagine. Um, you said we're thankful beyond the point of needing. Oh, you wait. Do you mean thankful or thank? Wait, my brain confused that. We're we are. I'm gonna skip that word, because my brain's not understanding what that part means. We are beyond the point of needing individual stories to know the issue of disability. I'm not saying the word because they might take this down. So I'll call it A instead of the word that you wrote because I can read it in my head. Yeah, it was difficult to deal with. I can only do. Let's be honest. We've been in situations on this channel, but also I've been in situations in real life. So there are things. Only thing I can do is the best I can. Like I've been in situations where suicide stuff's happened. I can only do as much as I can. I'm not a professional. Even if I was, you can only do so much as you can. And even though you wish for the best, you don't know in the outcome. You don't always know the outcome of it, which can be sad at times. So ultimately, they will do what they think is best. Yeah, that's true. Typically, people will do what they think is best and what they advise. It could go bad or good. I hope more for good than bad, but I can't control the outcome. So for me being emotionally attached to things, even if I don't know someone too well, I get emotionally attached. So that's why you guys saw the thing that happened with Warren, how I got the way I was at one point. I don't know if any of that stuff was true, but at the time I would never, even now I will never say it wasn't real. I don't know because I will never minimize possible suicide attempt or even suicide, kind of suicide ideation. I will never minimize it. Being someone that survived suicide attempts multiple times, someone that's had suicide ideation, I would never act as if I know it was actually happening because I can't possibly know that. Only God knows that and the person. And all I will do in those situations, if someone is thinking in that headspace, I will do whatever I can on my end to make sure they get the help that they need. Warranted. I can't control what outcome that's going to happen, even though, of course, I would like to sometimes because I don't want anyone to choose a permanent solution to something that can possibly be changed. But I just hope that doesn't continuously happen anymore. Like that's the third. I guess technically, no, it's the third time that I've had. Well, second time I've had to try to coax someone down. Well, not really coax. Some try to help them go down a good path, but I don't really know if it worked. I mean, I know two times I was being manipulated. I'm not sure about the third time. I can't say about the one with one. I don't know. But I do know the 2 times I was being manipulated, but I was trying to do everything on my end, even though I didn't. Those 2 times before, I didn't know I was being manipulated at the time, but I do know now. Which I had never even thought of suicide manipulation being an actual thing because I had never seen anyone do that before. Before one of my friends did it to me, and this other guy who I don't know what is wrong. I don't know what the heck is wrong with him. Yeah, I still suspect something is wrong. I don't know. I ever talking to him again because he's something ain't right there because the problem I wouldn't have had a problem with him, the second guy, if the guy for Warren, as if he apologized and then turn it into some weird thing where he was after the whole situation happened, whatever, he was saying, "Okay, Mariah, I'm all good. I didn't mind that part at all, but I minded the part where he tried to. I don't even know what it'd be. I'm not even sure what he basically kind of trying to. In my head, not really in my head. This actually happened. There were situations where I told you this is the same guy that pretended it was his birthday because it actually happens to be my ex's birthday. So he pretended it was his birthday, but it actually was my actual ex's birthday, which ruined that whole winter break because it was winter break time when it happened. It was winter break for the school. It was winter break for school, for elementary school and everything, and particularly probably all schools, whatever. But that fucked me up. Like, I went to sleep, man. I was so pissed because I went to sleep and I wasn't really pissed. I'm pissed now, but at the time I was not pissed. I was like literally crying. I was like, Mom, I got this message from this guy. He sent me a picture of like he sent me like a picture of pills and like in his hand, and I was like, oh my gosh, I like was like starting to freak out everywhere because it had been hours since he had sent that, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know. He didn't know that it was my ex birthday. I wasn't ever telling him because that's the same. He's the same bastard. I'm sorry. Not nice. I'm not being nice right now. The same jerk who was calling my ex a pussy and other different things and called me a whore and a slut because I didn't want to be with him, and he was like, okay, no, because I didn't want to answer like the video call or call him on video. And I'm so glad I didn't call him because he's the same bastard who sent me a picture of himself in his car with like his like pants down and was like, I'm fucking you. So like I'm glad my ass did not call him on video chat. So like because I suspect with someone that can't take the no for answer, I suspect he would be one of those people that rape people. I'm sorry, that's what I suspect. That's exactly how I feel. No, he didn't know, Nick, that it was my ex's birthday. I wouldn't tell him that. He's disgusting. Like, I don't get the men. I know not all men are like that because I know not every man is like that. But like, there are a few I've met that are like they don't take no for an answer. That other damn bastard who made me not want to ever do video calls. He's not the first one. There was one before him that did that. Where I know I also was. I think it was at work. So I'm glad I didn't because that would. Oh my gosh, I probably would get fired. Damn, I would have got fired. I just thought about that. I probably would have got my ass fired. Because if he done what I think that same jerk before him did, you know, the thing with I'm trying not to think about that because that makes me real angry more than anything. Because I used to actually trust people at their actual word, um, more than I before these two incidents happened. I trust people at their word. I trust some people. I don't trust. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't really trust men at their word now. I trust my father and I trust my ex, but I don't trust new men that I meet anymore because of this whole shit. Okay, Nick is like exception to that rule, and the reason I say that is because he's one of my mods and like exception to the rule. I don't think he would do something like that. But I don't. When someone like asks me to video call, especially if they're a male, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not answering a damn thing. Hell no. Like my former friend Raul, I trust him because he was fully how he was from day one. He didn't do anything that was inappropriate ever. He has never done anything inappropriate. Um, you don't think I'd get fired? Because I know that, but I worked in a school, so I probably would have got fired because it would look like I'm watching porn on my freaking phone. So nah. Especially because the classroom we worked in, kids were always around the room and if they saw that, oh my God, I don't even want to think about that. That's terrifying. Like I already felt violated when it happened to me and I'm an adult. So I literally don't even, yeah. He said this is something that you can honestly say. I know, like I said, I know you would never do that to me. I just trust certain people. I trust more than others. There's certain people I would trust. Now, my former friend Posh, I think he would do that shit. I think he would do that shit to me.